Inspired by it.
Motivation.
Inspired by EQ.
Motivation.
Inspired by
Motivation.
Inspired by it.
Motivation.
Inspired by EQ.
Motivation.
Inspired by
Motivation.
Happy Saturday, world. Welcome to Talks with AQ. This is episode 5. And I thank you for taking the time to listen today. I hope you had an excellent week and a weekend also. Because you know the vibes. You gotta live your life to the fullest. As always, I believe today we're gonna have an interesting conversation about the past and relationships. Now, if you have been catching up with Inspired by AQ on YouTube, you can realize our last Friday motivation discussed relationships through a spoken word form. Now, the thing that I love about spoken word is that you can put words together and tie them together in such a way that allows you to give a meaning. And that meaning can be deciphered by the listener, and they can figure out what you're really talking about or referring to. So in that sense, it's very important to read the lines and in between the lines very carefully, because you never know what that person has to say truly within their own monologue. And I think everybody in this life has a monologue, because if you're someone like me who likes to talk to themselves and have a full-blown conversation, you realize we're the type of people that have a strong force of self-awareness and self-love and self-confidence. We know what we want. We know how we're going to get it. We understand life in a different way than the norm, and we really want to better ourselves. And we make ourselves the priority. And like anything, there's nothing wrong with that. It's true to make yourself a priority, and it's true to do things that will be the best place for you and that will put you in the best position. And that's not selfish. That's just you being mindful of what you're doing to yourself. Like anything, if you're going to eat an unhealthy food, that's your choice. It's your decision. If you're going to hurt your body, then hey, that's up to you. But if you really want to heal yourself and make your body fresh, then you make the decision to eat the right things and make the right things for you. So that moves on to why discuss relationships. Now, young people today, we always settle. And what I mean by settle is we always settle for something just because it's there and it's convenient and it's just there. You know, we just settle. And it's not good to settle, because you have to look at yourself and look at your worth and what you deserve. Because if you don't really evaluate what you deserve at the end of the day, then what are you really doing? Are you really doing it for you? Are you just doing it for the other person? Like, you should put yourself first, because if you're not going to do that, then you won't be happy in the end. So what are you really trying to achieve? And when I say those words, I think hard and long about myself and my life as well, because through anything, we have times where we just settle. We have times where we just want to make the other person happy before we make ourselves happy. You can't do that. It's draining. The more you drain yourself of your energies, the more you give yourself away without really looking at yourself first. So be sure to look in that mirror, look inside yourself, and look inside the inner you and say, hey, are we happy? Are you happy, inner me, in there? Because if you're not, please tell me. And it's like that inner conversation with yourself. I think it's truly an awakening once you really have that conversation with yourself and you just ask the questions like, are you happy? Are you excited? Is this what you really want? And if you start to question yourself, then that becomes the time when you have all these questions of self-doubt, worry, you get anxious. Like, if you question yourself so much, why go through it? And it's easier said than done, because a lot of us just put ourselves into predicaments that are out of our control, and we do it purposefully. So it starts to become that matter of, hey, do you really want to do that again? Or are you willing to grow for the better. Like, come on now. Why would you waste your time? Like, don't waste your time being with someone that you wouldn't like, being with someone that doesn't respect you, being with someone that doesn't love you the way you feel you should be loved. Like, don't waste your time. Find someone that's going to test you, challenge you, be there for you through thick and thin. For example, like if you're on your last leg of life and that person really cares about you, then that person will actually be there for you to help you shower, that will wipe you down even when you're not even clothed. Like, that person will be there for you. That's true love through it all, through anything, through up and through down. That is love. That person cares for you. That person will be there for you. So to find such a person is very rare. Some people make it look easy, but you have to stop yourself and not envy. A lot of people tend to envy others in their situations. Like, social media is the root of all evil for that, because we have so many people posting that they're getting married or they're having a child and all these other things, and then that envy comes into play where you're thinking, dang, like, where's my other half? Where's that person that's going to treat me like that? And when am I going to get married? When am I going to have a child? And all these questions come to your mind, but you got to stop yourself and realize, hey, like, why are you questioning yourself? Like, everyone has their own journey. Everyone has what they're meant to have. Like, everything happens for a reason. Your time will come, so don't rush it. Like, I think the biggest fault of society is, like, we tend to rush things. We tend to rush things before it's our time, and then we get into these moments where we're stressing, we're complaining, we're like, oh my gosh, I can't get there. Why did I do this? Like, it's our fault at the end of the day, and it's all about accountability and responsibility, taking ownership for what you're doing and being the right person in your own journey. Like, there's so many hurdles that we have to go through, but we have to understand, like, if something happens based on our choices and our events, it's on us. You know, you make the decisions, you make those choices. Like, you have the left and the right. You choose the left or you choose the right. The left's the right, the right's the wrong. Then, hey, you know where the outcome's going to be. You know where it's going to lead. But sometimes there is a moment for redemption if you work hard enough and you redeem yourself. Because there's always room for redemption. There's never an end game, you know, unless you're really, really down there in the dumps. But if you're willing to rise up and be your best self, then there's nothing that's going to stop you, regardless of anything, unless you make excuses for yourself. And like with anything, if you're really somebody who's critical about, I got to get these things done before I get to point C, like for example, like for me, I say, I'm not interested in being in a relationship right now, but what I am willing to do is find the right people to surround myself with. Because if you surround yourself with positive, amazing people who share the same vision as you, then those things will come within its time, because you're actually putting in that positive energy and you're manifesting it into the universe for it to come back to you. It's all about that karma effect. You know, you do good without expecting anything, and then one day you hit the jackpot and boom, positivity galore. Things happen where they fall, and you have nothing to worry about. So it begins to be that decision of, are you really prepared to take it to that level? Because like anything, there's levels to this. You got to take it step by step. Don't rush. Take your time. It's just like the tortoise versus the hare. You want to be the tortoise in life. You want to take your time, go slow. Don't be the hare and rush through things. Take your time. Let things come as they may, and then you will get to your destination. I don't fault anybody for taking their time in college. A lot of people can take 6 years to graduate, and that's fine. Take your time as much as you need to. Never judge someone for taking their time. Take your time, finish, and then move on to the next step. As long as you're moving on to the next step, you're working your hardest, you're working the best you can be, then you get there. Someone like me, I had the attitude of, I want to get college done. I want to get to point A, I want to get to point B, and it's good to have a plan. I'm not faulting anybody for having a plan. If you have a plan, then that means you already are trying to have a handle on your life, and you're trying to hold your life by the reins and keep moving forward. But it's okay to take that break and take your time. Some of us finish school in 4 years, some of us finish school in 6 years, some of us finish school in 8. It's all good. Take your time. If you're not willing to take your time and be patient, then what are you willing to do? Like with fishing, I was taking my time, and I think for me, I've developed a good level of patience. But like anything, there's still room to grow with my patience. But I think I've developed a good room of patience because I sit and I watch the fish go. And once I see the fish tugging at the line, I'm like, okay, I feel like it's time. Because I might have waited for X amount of hours, but I have that feeling from all that waiting and all that dedication to waiting. I think I'm going to catch something. And then what happens? My little brother and I catch all these fish. Everybody's like, wow, oh my goodness, y'all catching all these fish? And it's because we're taking our time. A lot of people that I noticed that were fishing at that time, they were just rushing. They were just casting off the line. They were like, oh no, there's nothing there, and it'll keep rolling it up. And they would not be patient. It's important to be patient in your life because everything happens for a reason. And whatever happens will happen within its time. And if it's meant to happen for you, then it will happen. You have to manifest it. You have to speak it into existence. If you really want to make it to where you want to go to, then make a plan. Write it to the universe. Write a self-note to yourself in your diary or notebook or journal. Write it to yourself so that you know this is where I want to be and this is how I'm going to do it. And these are the steps I'm going to take. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And hey, it doesn't matter how long that takes. For me, just starting YouTube and things of that nature, I started in February and I just said, I'm just going to upload these videos every single week based on how these videos had told me. And I'm just going to see where this goes. I'm going to make a goal for in May that if I'm going to make this amount of subscribers, then I'm going to move on to this step. So that goal didn't end in May, but it ended up getting fulfilled anyway at a later date. And then I moved on to the next step, which is today's podcast Talks with AQ. I think it's important to work by a step-by-step process because it helps you understand yourself better and it helps you build yourself to a higher plane of existence. You start to see things on a different level. Because if you're looking at that step and you're like, I want to fulfill the goal. That's what it is, the fulfillment about goal setting. Because you look at the goals and you're like, okay, I need to fulfill this. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. It doesn't matter how long the wait is going to be. I have to fulfill this so that I can make it to the next step. You have to understand the concept of levels on levels. There's always going to be a level. You open one door, another one opens. You open another one opens. Just always have the mindset of it's never going to end. Keep on being consistent and keep on pushing through. Because if you're willing to keep on pushing through, then there's nothing else that anyone can tell you to stop you from your goals unless it's you yourself. So it's very important to keep on with the mindset of once this ends, the next thing will happen. Once this ends, the next thing will happen. Once this ends, the next thing will happen. And then you start to develop that end goal. Once you've fulfilled all the goals that you need to do in this life, then you have your end goal, the after story. And then, hey, there's still more goals to accomplish. Like one example, I use my grandma. She always has all these goals laid out. She does all these things. But she never stops. She has all these goals in mind. She has all these aspirations, and that's good. The more aspirations you have and the more things you want to do in life, the more fruits of life you'll have left in this world. Don't lay in the lumps and the slums of yourself. Don't stay in a depression. Lift yourself up, grow, find the better you that's within, and grow. If you're willing to grow in this life, I'm telling you, it's going to work out in the end. You're going to see a lot of good things happening. And hey, what's better than that? Thank you for listening to Talks with AQ. As always, you can check us out at all the affiliated AQ things, such as Inspired by AQ, AQ the Singer. And check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all the social medias. Have a blessed day.